Good afternoon everyone, welcome to Custard Factory, which I had a few funny tweets about on the way up. It's good to be here, ahead of our show on Saturday night at the Barclaycard Arena, live on Sky Sports. It's great to be in the Midlands for the first time in a long time on a card that's had a lot of changes since we were here a few months ago. Obviously you'll know that your very own Frankie Gavin has got a shot at Kelbrook for the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World. So we needed to find a big replacement and someone that could help fill this arena, and we did it with the man sitting next to me, the Olympic heavyweight champion, 11-0 WBC international champion, Anthony Joshua. To introduce everybody on the table, firstly, down the far end, a young man who now world ranked, I believe going to move on to world titles within the next 12 months. Of course, Birmingham's very own Cal YAFAI. At the far end, so we're going to do a clap. Okay. We're going to clap. His brother down the other end actually got a very difficult fight on Saturday's first 8-rounder, and that's our undefeated super bantamweight Gamal YAFAI. A young man, colourful young man, very experienced, here with big ambition, fighting for the vacant Commonwealth welterweight title. Please welcome from Ghana, Joseph Lamptey. His opponent, someone that a lot of people are talking about right now, sold a huge amount of tickets for Saturday night, and like I said, gets his first fight at a real genuine major title, the Commonwealth welterweight title, and that's Sam Eggington. A man who's been there and done it all, always been slung into the deep end, fought some of the very best fighters all around the world. Golovkin, Stern, fight which he won with ease, in our opinion, should have been world champion that night. Of course, a great fight with Sergio Martinez. Had a great fight with Sebastian Hyland, his last fight, and now he's back fighting in his hometown for another crack at that world title later this year. Please welcome Matthew Macklin. To my right, a man who I feel is the perfect opponent right now for Anthony Joshua. I think people seem to believe that these fights for Anthony are just routine events, routine performances. Not really with this guy. Watched him for a reasonable amount of time, coming off a big first round KO victory for the South American heavyweight title, but more impressively, in fact, are his losses. The loss to Charles Martin, the WBO #2 and the IBF #5, took him 10 rounds, very competitive in that fight. Eric Molina, the WBC #10, went 8 rounds with him, and more recently took Shannon Briggs the full 12 rounds. This is a tough fight for Anthony Joshua, and we welcome from Brazil, Rafael Zambano Love. And finally, a guy who we've managed to box at just about every major city over the country so far since he turned professional. Great performances and great receptions in Glasgow, in Cardiff, in Newcastle recently, in Manchester, in Liverpool and in London. And I'm really pleased that we got the chance to bring him here. He wasn't originally scheduled for this show, but sometimes fate works out like that, and we believe this gentleman's going to go on and be the future heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm delighted that Birmingham gets a chance to see Anthony Joshua on Saturday. Before these guys get a chance to speak, just a couple of other notable mentions on the show. Like I said, this card is packed with some of the best fighters in the UK. Callum Smith, the current WBC #4 super middleweight, returns from 6 months out of injury in an 8-round contest on Saturday night. And our other gold medalist winner and Anthony's colleague, Luke Campbell, the 10-0 undefeated lightweight, one of the best lightweights in the world at the moment, has also been added to this card on Saturday. So many great young fighters, Dan Breeze, Lennox Clark, packed night of boxing in Birmingham on Saturday, and we really look forward to welcoming you. So to say a few words, obviously Cal, originally due to fight Ray Magrino, and an injury forced you to have a short camp, but you phoned me up and told me you have to box on Saturday night. Isaac Kay went the distance recently with Kevin Satchell, the British and European featherweight champion, and I know you're excited about being part of this bill on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I've gutted about not having that WBC silver title fight from Peru, but what will I do? Do I just sit out and not fight, or do I fight in front of my home fans? It's a no-brainer. I had to fight on this show. You know, it's a bit disappointing, but I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to fight on a show in front of my home fans. I've been waiting a long time, and now it's here.
And Gamal, a big step up for you on Saturday night. You know, your first 8-round fight, and also a decent opponent, and should be a tough test. Someone that's very durable, been the distance with a lot of decent super bantamweights, and excited about boxing in Birmingham.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Boxing bantamweight like me though, and on Saturday night I look to get out there in front of all my Birmingham fans.
Obviously, remember the night that you were rushed out to fight at Wembley in front of 80,000. This is a different kind of experience. Obviously, a lot more people know you are, a lot more people that are showing up for yourself on Saturday. Easy to stay calm and not get carried away?
No, I'm a bit more experienced now than I was then, and I keep my head on. I know what to do. So.
Joseph, welcome. I know that Kofi tells us that this is a big fight for you and you're very excited. What do you expect on Saturday night?
Yes. Yes. Support the film they were if you ain't about money, if you ain't about money, no, I get better than Fiamma, Lagay Beme or the Beman support, no, come a film and support, I support the money. Okay. My lady, one of fans, yeah.
Alright. Okay. I know the 9th of May is a day as soon as I got my information that I was fighting, I penciled as a day I will be the Commonwealth champion. He can bring the whole of Birmingham with him tomorrow. It doesn't matter. When that belt goes, I will be in there with him. I will be the Commonwealth champion. I'm not here to make up numbers, and he can mark my words for that.
Thank you, Joseph. Sam, obviously, you know, you've become a star recently on Sky Sports, come up on the blind side, great performances in Prize Fighter, and for me a wonderful performance against Shane Singleton last time out to win the WBC international title. Now, you know, the chance to win a Commonwealth title, which I guess 6 months ago or longer seemed a dream for you. And a big thank you to Frankie Gavin as well for passing up this title and giving you the opportunity on Saturday.
Yeah, so like I say, a massive thank you to Frankie Gavin for vacating the title for me in absolute. We was here last press conference we was here before the Shane Singleton fight, and Eddie said to me, we'll come through the Shane Singleton fight, we'll have a nice big title fight on the May show. Come through it, and Ed delivered, so I put the graft in. And come Saturday, I'll come off title and bring back to Birmingham.
Obviously, I've watched a lot of Joseph as well, very experienced, quite awkward, and definitely up for this fight. What are you expecting out of the fight on Saturday?
To be honest, mate, I don't watch nothing of him. John does it, he tells me what to do, and we go in and I get the job done most times, so it seems to work. So I do what John tells me to do, and it'll come on. Fair enough. It'll come on.
I remember when you boxed at Wolverhampton, you had a lot of support there in Prize Fighters, obviously at the embryonic stage of your career. You brought a lot of fans in everywhere you boxed. You know, Manchester when you boxed Denton Vassell, we had a lot there in Hull. You sold a huge amount of tickets for Saturday night. It's going to be pretty special, obviously. A lot of fighters on this bill excited who haven't had the opportunity to fight in front of their home fans on a card like this.
Like I say, I always box. It's either like I said, it was Manchester, Hull, went to Dublin. It's always been in front of a crowd where the majority of the fans are there for the home fighters. At least one, the majority of the fans will be there for like the fights from Birmingham, which is me. So I presume a whole a completely different atmosphere. It'll be intense, I think. So. I can't wait.
Good. Someone else who's got masses of support on the bill. Matthew, obviously you boxed in Dublin recently, which was one of your ambitions coming back. Didn't work out. Tired, and feels like you had a long camp for that and a lot going on, but refreshed now and excited about boxing in Birmingham on Saturday.
Yeah, that's it. The fight last year was a funny year. I mean, I was meant to box Felix Stern in a rematch early April. Then that fell through. There was talk of Quilla, and then it was Gil. The fight was on. Got pulled 2 weeks before the fight. I was at the gym for about 10 days, back in the gym, training for the first fight in August, obviously. an incident happened with Jamie at Marbella, so that fight fell through. And then, you know, we were on to the fight in Germany in September. Week after, back in the gym, I was training for 5 November. So, come the night of the Highland fight, I literally had probably 2 weeks out of the gym at one time from the 4th of January. So, I think at 32, I think, you know, all that training took its toll. And at the time, you're in the zone and you're so focused on the fight, you're the worst person, you can't see the wood for the trees, and you push it on, you get niggles, so you work around them. But I think coming out of the fight, and it was, I mean, he's a good fighter as well, it's not like taking anything away from him, he fought at a hell of a pace, but I just felt after 3 or 4 rounds, you know, the tank was empty, and it wasn't like a fitness issue, it was more like I just had no energy, and it wasn't because of the weight, because of the weight right. So, having analysed it back afterwards, I just thought, you know, I think I was overtrained for that fight, I think I was burnt out, and I'm going to retire a long time. My whole adult life I've been boxing as a pro, and you know, I don't want to be sitting in retirement a year, 18 months, 2 years, and start wanting to come back because, you know, I haven't got peace of mind. So I thought I'm going to give it another go. I'm going to go again, and obviously I want to fight for world titles. I don't want to go back down the levels, but you know, I need a win first. And when Eddie said he was thinking of going to Birmingham, I thought, yeah, no, that especially in May, I thought that kind of fits in time-wise, and yeah, so I think Saturday night for me is just about getting a win. But it's also great to be on a card with so many big names of the future, maybe not household names just yet. Andy Joshua is, because obviously he's an Olympic champion, but you know, Cali YAFAI, Gamal, Sam Eggington, I think they're all stars of the future and they're all from Birmingham, and you know, it's brilliant because I remember 6 years ago was probably the last time I boxed, no, 5 years ago, sorry, was the last time I boxed in Birmingham. It was a Magnificent 7 show. And on that show that time it was pay-per-view, and everyone moaned about it being pay-per-view. But if you look back on that card now and see what all those fighters went on and have done, James DeGale, hopefully he'll be world champion soon. You know, I've fought for the world title 3 times since then. Cleverly's fought for the world title. Enzo Macronelli's fought for the world title. You know, there was many other names on that card as well. Frankie Gavin's gone to fight for the world title. So if you see where those guys have gone and what they've produced since then, that they've all gone on to become stars in their own right. So, you know, looking at this table here today, is Luke Campbell also boxing it? And Callum Smith, who I've sparred and I know since he was a kid because of, you know, boxed amateur with all his brothers, for me he's definitely a future world champion. So when you look at the card that how stacked it is with all the names that they're all stars of the future, and for me to be on it and for it to be big time boxing, coming back to Birmingham to be a part of that, very proud, very happy, and hopefully it's the first win and the start of the next chapter, which hopefully will be a successful chapter for me.
Obviously, you know, a lot of the conversations that have been going on the last couple of weeks with potential fights for you at the end of summer and early autumn. Does that put pressure on Saturday night? I mean, I know it's a fight, obviously you're going to be expected to win, but you know, people looking at you as a potential opponent and obviously a better performance would give you a much better opportunity to go and fight for that world title again.
I mean, at this stage in my career, little pressures like that are going to get to me. It is time to call it a day, although it shouldn't have started. But no, I think it doesn't have pressure. I think it adds an incentive. I mean, of course, you know, I need to win, and you know, I mean, it's a shame that the opponent pulled out yesterday. He was kind of ideal. I think he would have given me a decent fight. I think if I stopped him, I think he would have given me a decent few rounds. So now I think it's just important to get the win. Of course, I want to look as good as I can. And yeah, there's been some exciting conversations between myself and yourself about future fights after this, but it's important to probably, you know, not overlook Saturday, because every fight's a potential banana skin when there's something big in the pipeline. So yeah, no, it's important to focus on Saturday, get the job done, and then we can talk Sunday, Monday, and look to move on after that.
Good stuff. And Raphael, also a special thank you to Mickey Hellier, the guy who's definitely got more fighters than most promoters put together around the world, for arranging this fight. A big fight for you. You've boxed some top class heavyweights from all over the world. What do you expect on Saturday night, and what do you know of Anthony Joshua?
Thank you very much for the promotion, for bringing me here. And thank you to Mickey for giving me the opportunity.
Dura, difícil, porque Anthony es un buen peleador, pero que estoy listo, estoy preparado y tenía mucho para estar acá.
I expect a hard fight. I know Anthony Joshua is a good boxer, but I'm prepared, I'm well prepared. I've fought good boxers, so he's got a point to prove. I haven't.
And obviously you've been in with some top quality heavyweights, Charles Martin, Shannon Briggs, Eric Molina recently. Which of those do you rate as the toughest of those tests?
Penso que o melhor até hoje que eu pelei foi no último Macklin que eu pelei, o mais duro, o mais difícil.
Martin was the hardest one.
Shannon Briggs is mais forte.
Shannon Briggs is harder, he's a stronger boxer, but Martin was the best boxer.
Sure. Well, we wish you luck on Saturday. Obviously, Charles Martin
Mucha suerte el sábado.
on the verge of a world title shot himself, WBO #2. Anthony, obviously a great performance against Jason Gavin, and back now full fitness. You've been training very hard physically. I think I said to you the other day, probably the best condition of your career, or certainly there or thereabouts. This was a fight that was added, you know, after the Gavin fight, ahead of the Kevin Johnson fight. But you wanted to keep that momentum going, and I think we all know that this is a genuine step up for you on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's no pressure on me. I think I've got that mentality where I'm a contender myself. I don't really put that pressure on myself, but I definitely train very hard as usual. Never take my foot off the gas. It's good to be around good company as well on the bill. Thank yourself for getting me on the show as well. It's good to keep active. I'm young, you know, I'm injury free. And I've got these opportunities to box and not only showcase what we're doing in the gym, but every fight I'm going to gain valuable experience leading up to the championship fights. So it's a great opportunity. I think Birmingham's the last show. You know, we've been, as you said, Newcastle, Manchester, so on, Sheffield, and Birmingham's the last one on the list now, so it's honour to be out here.
I know that you're a student of the game as well, but your training team will look at your opponents.
Yeah.
And we talked just in Cafe across the road about Raphael.
Yeah.
Awkward opponent, and you know, talking about that long lunging left hook, and also someone that's got size with you this time. You know, a lot of your previous opponents have been smaller people, not out of choice, but just the way it's worked out. But now, someone with long arms who has size as well should bring something different to the table.
Most definitely, like the era of the heavyweights now, like ex-basketball players are massive, and Zambano Love, you know, be awarded jabs, the rights, and he's got other punch variety in his arsenal as well, like left hooks and so on. The good thing is though, he comes forward, and I'm looking forward to us trading on the inside as well. I've been doing a lot of work on the inside, so I know he can fight on the inside. So I don't see myself lacking up really. I'm looking forward to just trading up some blows with him, and I'm sure that he'll probably go past 3 rounds because he's very durable. He can take a lot like myself, so I'm looking forward to going 6, 7, 8, and hopefully getting a spectacular KO later on in the fight.
Obviously, Kevin Johnson will be there on Saturday night. I'm sure he'll have a few words, as he always does. Talks of potentially a fight in Manchester in July, and then headlining your own show in September at the O2. How does it work? You know, obviously this is a heavyweight game. You're in with a guy who's very experienced, had over 40 fights, can punch very hard, mixed with great opposition. Do you look beyond Saturday, or is it just all about focusing your mind to the Barclaycard Arena in Birmingham?
100% Barclaycard Arena. That's 100% focus. But I know if I want to achieve those goals of, like, you know, defeating Johnson and all these world title winners and everything boxing has to offer, just like, for instance, the weekend just passed, I think the inspiration for myself and like these kids down here is to go on and do stuff like Mayweather, Pacquiao. It's hard not to look for the future and see what else is out there because it's always in your face, but I know one step at a time. I've always taken it that way, and that's why I said I've got that contender mentality. I'm far from putting myself on a pedestal, you know. I'm hungry like anyone else trying to work my way up the rankings.
Good stuff. Well, as always, we look forward to watching you in action on Saturday night at Barclaycard Arena, live on Sky Sports from 7:30. And we'll also be showing the majority of the fights on Saturday night, and also going to America for the Ricky Burns, Omar Figueroa broadcast, and Jamie McDonnell against Tomoki Kameda live on CBS. I want to thank everyone in Birmingham for their support. We'll have around 5,000 there on Saturday. It's going to be a wonderful atmosphere. Join us for the weigh-in tomorrow. We're going to break now. We're going to have a group photo, and then we're going to have head-to-heads with Joseph and Sam and Anthony and Raphael. So we'll see you at Saturday night. Doors open at 5 o'clock. Boxing starts at 5:30. Thank you very much.